Hey my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Huck, and today I'm going to go over my 52-week movie challenge from 2024 and let you know all the movies that I saw on each week. And I'll try to clip through it. I won't spend too much time because it's 52 weeks. If I spend a minute on each one, it's an hour video. So we'll go much quicker than that. And then at the end, I will share with you my 52-week challenge for 2025 because a lot of you have expressed interest in joining me on this because, you know, I made this sound so fun, and it was a really good time to expose myself to movies I haven't seen. My mission for this one was try to see all of these movies are ones I haven't seen, unless the challenge was watch your favorite movie or something like that. So clearly I'm going to watch a movie I've already seen. But for the most part, 98% of all of these were first-time watches, and it was a fantastic experience. So here we go. Stand by. Get ready, because I'm going to go over the entire list of my 52-week movie challenge for 2024. Hit it. All right, let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what the week is and what the theme was for that week, and then I will share with you the title that I watched. Now, I got my cheat sheet up here, which is my Letterboxd. So if you haven't joined me on Letterboxd, get over there, join Letterboxd, sign up, find me, friend me, and we'll get to share our list with each other. And that's also where I have my 2025 list as well. All right, so first up, week number 1 was a Best Picture winner, and with that, I did No Country for Old Men. Excellent. Week number 2 was a movie classic. So this one I chose, Anatomy of a Murder, and that I have in my Columbia Classics box, and that allowed me to see something that I hadn't seen before. Number 3, week 3 is low budget, let's try that again. Low budget, big box office return, and that was Return of the Dragon, right? A little Bruce Lee movie. Week number 4 is something starring animals. I had not seen DC League of Super Pets yet, and I watched that, and man, I loved it. I laughed out loud. Super good. Week number 5 was especially good. It was an early film from a famous actor or actress, and I picked Audrey Hepburn thanks to my buddy Tim encouraging me to check out Audrey movies, and I watched Roman Holiday, and it was fantastic. Like 4-star, like almost 5 stars. It's a great, great movie. Next up, number 6, week 6 is a movie with subtitles. So I went Kung Fu. I actually watched Ip Man, the first one in the series with Donnie Yen, and man, that was fantastic too. I'm telling you, I did really well with these films and getting lucky watching really good stuff. If you watch my Letterboxd, I have very, very few under 3 stars. Next up, week number 7, a stop-motion film. I watched Fantastic Mr. Fox. Loved it. Week number 8, not a big war guy, but this was set during an historic war, so I picked 1917. 5 stars on that. Man, again, not being a war guy that much, but I thought that movie was fantastic. Riveted the whole time. Week number 9 is watch an independent film, so I chose X. I have not seen the first in the series, ironically, so I checked that out. So now I've seen X, Pearl, and Maxine. What a great trilogy. Loved it a lot. Now, week number 10, Best Original Screenplay. I had to sort of educate myself on the guy that beat Star Wars, Woody Allen, Annie Hall. For the longest time, I've put it off. Finally, it's over. All done. 3 stars, good movie. I don't think it should have beaten Star Wars, but there you go. Week 11 is a family-friendly film. Saw this in the theater. Perfect timing. Kung Fu Panda 4. And it was hilarious. I couldn't believe how good that still was. Coming up next in week number 12 is A Clockwork Orange, because that was for a controversial film. Subject matter is very heavy. I get it. I gave it 3.5 stars because of the filmmaking for it, but I'll never see it again. It's too disturbing. I don't need to go there again. Now, week number 13 had a little bit more fun based on a TV series, or it's turned into a TV series, either way. And that was The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. Man, that was so good. I've not seen any of The Equalizers. Now I'm a fan of the first one. Can't wait to see the next 2. Week 14 is based on a true story. I saw The Fighter with Christian Slater. Christian Slater. Totally different Christian. Christian Bale. Could you imagine Christian Slater? You know, I can't believe I got to fight. nailed it, by the way. Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. It was excellent. Another 4.5 stars. Man, I tell you, I don't mind being the guy that's late to the game. People always say, "Oh, I'm embarrassed I haven't seen it." I'm fine being the guy that hadn't seen like all these great movies, because now I get to experience all these great things and have a little bit more tolerance too. Now that I'm older, if some things wouldn't work when I was younger, they're all working now. Until now, week number 15 is watch a B movie. So I finally put in my Barbarella. That movie's hot garbage, y'all. I'm sorry. It's not a great movie. It's a B movie that's just, Pygar. Oh my God, like Jane Fonda. It goes nowhere. The story's terrible. The effects are bad. I don't know. Now, the costumes are great. The one good thing I had to say about it was good costumes, and Jane Fonda gets naked. Which she had to booze up for. If you watch the bonus features, she couldn't do it unless she was tanked. Week number 16, a silent film, Nosferatu. I knew we had the new Nosferatu coming out at the end of the year, and I've always wanted to see this classic that I'd bought from Kino Lorber years ago, and it did not disappoint. Very, very good. All right, at number 17, it's an animated film, so I chose stop motion, and I went with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Oh, man, that was so good. It was just so good. 4 stars. Love that movie. Week number 18, set in the distant future, Ex Machina. I had gotten the 4K on that a couple of years ago for like $7. Time to crack that puppy open. Again, 4 stars. Thought it was excellent. Week number 19 was a very interesting theme, rich versus poor. So I watched The Hunt from 2020, and this is a kind of a cool movie. It's like The Game and other things where it's like humans are being hunted. Same thing. It's not a new premise, but the lead actress in this, I just say, is fantastic. And I don't know, I just had a really good time with The Hunt. Sometimes, like, you want to try to overthink it and get something that's super classic or whatever, but this was great. All right. Week number 20, it's set during your favorite time period. And for me, that's the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, absolutely love the 80s. And it's even named after a great 80s song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I loved it. Sarah Jessica Parker, Helen Hunt, even had Shannon Doherty in this thing. And it was great. I gave it 3 stars. Very likable film. Now, week 21 was Best Cinematography winner. So when I get to these things, I pretty much have to do a Google search, see who wins. And my friend Joe, he said, he's a cinematographer, right? So I knew he'd have a good suggestion. And he said, how about you watch the very first one that ever won that award? And that was Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. It's a silent film, but man, I got to tell you, I loved that film. It was very, very good, very moving, 4 stars. Absolutely loved it. This is one of the best things I love about this challenge is finding things like this. Week 22, I'd never seen Singing in the Rain. Done, because this was the musical week, and there it is, 3.5 stars. Finally saw Singing in the Rain. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Next up, week 23 is set in pre-1900s, so I chose the first great train robbery with Sean Connery and our boy Donald Sutherland. Yeah, that's it. Really good. I mean, Donald Sutherland is super crazy, but Connery's awesome. Had a good time with that. I enjoyed it so much that I picked up the Kino copy on Blu-ray. So I've added that to my collection. So that's also another fun thing. Once I've watched these, I found it on streaming, liked it enough to pick it up. Next up, week 24, time for a new release, right? And you could see this 2 ways: new release in the theater, new release on streaming, whatever you want. I chose the theater, and I got Inside Out 2. Saw it with my daughter and loved it. Fantastic. I mean, the story, sorry, I can't see my screen. The story with Riley growing up and finding new emotions like anxiety. So good. 4 stars. Drop Dead Gorgeous is my next movie for week 25, and it was a movie celebrating its 25th anniversary. And so again, I looked up everything that happened 25 years ago and that I haven't seen and that I also have in my collection. That's another thing I try to do, is if I have it in my collection, finally watch it, open it. If someone recommended it and I bought it and didn't watch it yet, let's get it on this list. So that becomes another great reason to do these kind of things. And loved it. 4 stars. Thank you, Fish, for recommending that movie. Loved it. So good. Week 26 is Features an Illness. So here's another movie I picked up during a swap meet for a couple of bucks, and it's Extraordinary Measures with Brendan Fraser and Harrison Ford. Really good, really solid, 3 stars. Next up, week 27, strong female lead. Let's go, fried green tomatoes. Never saw this, 4 stars. Absolutely love the performances. Man, when you got Kathy Bates just taking it home, she's phenomenal. So love that. Hold on. All right, week 28 is going to be set during the decade I was born, which is the 60s. And so I picked American Graffiti. Now, this is the first movie on this challenge that I had already seen, but I haven't seen it in decades. And I picked up the 4K Steelbook, so it gave me a reason to finally watch it. So sometimes that's what this list is good for too. We just watch, even though you have seen it, you bought it, haven't watched it, boom, 4 stars, thought it was great. Next up, week 29 is based around a sport. I had a big, long list of these things. Friday Night Lights, on any given Sunday, things like that. But in the end, I picked I, Tonya. And can I tell you what a great choice that was? 4 stars on Letterboxd. Margot Robbie is so good in this movie, and she does all around skate. Like, I was like, did she compete as a kid? Her skating is phenomenal. So if this is another one of those actors that just learned to do the thing that the movie's about and kills it, way too much talent, that girl. Next up is week number 30, a remake. So I finally got on board these, animated, live action, photorealistic remakes from Disney, and that is The Jungle Book. So I watched that, and actually really, really great. I enjoyed that quite a bit, 4 stars. Now, this next one, 5 stars, y'all. Week 31 was a film festival winner. Again, Google it, find out all these film festivals, pick all these titles, and I picked Whiplash. I had not seen Whiplash yet. Man, that was so good. J.K. Simmons, that's what he won the Oscar for. Miles Teller's in there. It just cooking on those drums, man. Freaking great. All right, hang on. Got to move my screen. Okay, next up is week 32, a black and white film. I picked up a film during the Criterion sale, and that was Double Indemnity by Billy Wilder. Just love that film. I'm not a big noir guy, at least I haven't watched enough to become a super fan, but I knew this was a noir film, so I worked that in. It's black and white, and it's Billy Wilder, who was another one of my challenges is watch more Billy Wilder last year, so this killed 2 birds with 1 stone, 4 stars. Next week is week 33 is a sequel, and this one, y'all, literally, I was just sitting in the living room with the family, scrolling through Netflix, at least I think it was Netflix, one of those streaming services, and there was something with Dave Bautista, right, from Guardians called My Spy, The Eternal City. So, didn't even know, like, it was a sequel. I just sort of watched it first and realized after I watched it, I'm like, oh, this feels like a sequel because the title of it just sounds like a movie. My Spy, The Eternal City. Let's check it out. And because I didn't know it came from something, it was a fun little movie. So, not great. I give it like 2.5 stars. That's the first one, since Barbarella to get under 3 stars. But it was okay. It was okay. Next up, week 34, set during the Great Depression. I chose Modern Times. Man, Charlie Chaplin, that was great. 4 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Week number 35 is a book adaptation, so I picked Gone Girl. Again, never saw that before, too. What a fantastic film. Loved it. But I took like a half star off because I just thought the ending, it just lost me. Like, you go through all this, you have to see the movies, but it's a long way to go, and Affleck's put through the ringer, and then when you see the ending, you're like, really? That's the ending? I get it, you're trying to be different, or, I don't know, maybe that's the book. I just didn't care for the ending. I thought it was, like, ridiculous. So, 3.5 stars on that one. Next up, week 36 is just watch your favorite film. So, I hit my top 5 with, like, Back to the Future, Rocky, Superman, all those. I'm like, okay, which will it be? I picked Superman the movie. I had picked it out on 4K, got the steelbooks and all that, and never put it in yet to check out that amazing picture. Oh, I'm so glad I did because it looks phenomenal. Week 37 is a natural disaster. Earlier last year, I had seen the movie The Wave, which is a Swedish or Norwegian film. And this is the sequel to that called The Quake. It's the same family and what sort of happens shortly after the wave. It's the 2 are connected, which I really liked. I still like The Wave a little bit better, but The Quake gets 3 stars. All right, next up at week 38 is set in your location or your region, which for me is LA. So there's a comedy I bought at Big Lots a while back, and that's Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. Oh my God, so hilarious. I was totally digging this film. I'd never seen it before and always saw the, damn, which I now get to finally put into context. I know where that comes from. So yeah, Friday I gave 3 stars, 3.5 stars. Next up, week 39 is about a composer, musician, band, or group, so I checked out That Thing You Do. I actually never seen the whole thing before. I'd seen the clips enough and the song, That Thing You Do, which is super catchy. Man, absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this film. Like I said, I was just riding high, knocking most of these out of the park for me. Loved it. Next up, so that was 4 stars. Next up is week 40, which is a foreign film where I finally got to watch RRR. And man, let me tell you what a badass crazy movie this was. This movie won the Academy Award for Best Song, and the dancing that they had on stage looked so great and so energetic. I hadn't even seen the film. I'm like, you know what? I hope this wins. Like, I don't know what the movie's about, but I want that to win. And so you get to see the song happen in the movie, and it's unreal. Like, words can't describe it. This is another one of those 3-hour movies, so it's going to be a hard one to ever revisit. Probably won't. But I am so glad I watched this film. It's nuts. It's crazy. Week number 41 is a holiday movie. And hey, Halloween's a holiday, so I finally got to see Trick or Treat. And that's the one with the little pumpkin dude with the round head and the candy bites off. Oh my gosh. Let me just say, that was a treat for me. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm probably going to give it more as I rewatch it. I became an instant fan. I was so bummed that this thing's been out since 2007, and I just got to it because I could have been watching this as a regular during Halloween because I love this film. I picked it up from the Arrow, the new Arrow release because I liked it that much. And at Spirit Halloween, I picked up a bunch of swag, liked it that much. Next up, week 42 is a first film by a famous director. So I finally put in Duel. And I will say this is kind of a rewatch because I saw Duel on TV probably in the early 80s or something. And all I really remembered was, Dennis Weaver being chased by a giant truck. And that is still pretty much what the movie's about. But I wanted to really immerse myself, see the whole thing, because I didn't really remember anything about it except for the premise. And excellent. I gave it 4 stars. So glad I saw it. Next up in week 43 is it's set in college. Although I cheated a little bit on this one because I think this is high school. But I had to see it. This was still around the Halloween time. And I put in The Faculty. So each of these 3 sort of was in the spirit of the month it was in. And man, am I a super fan of The Faculty. It's one of those cheesy sort of outer space horror kind of creature things. Totally dug this movie. Totally dug it. 3.5 stars. Okay, the next up is week 44, Best Original Score winner. And again, had to Google all the ones that had won Best Score. And this one was The Hateful Eight from Quentin Tarantino. I picked this up a long time ago. Best Buy, $5, super sale, Blu-ray, and just never got around to seeing it. So, hey, that's what I love about this challenge. Just crack it open, check it out. 4.5 stars. Man, love this thing. It's a long movie. A lot of Quentin movies are, but I thoroughly love the performances. I love sort of his nonlinear way of sort of going back and forth telling stories. Man, so good. All right, and week 45 is one of my favorite weeks, and that is adapted from a play. And this film is something that inspired a play that's going on right now. So if you haven't seen this thing called The Play That Goes Wrong, you must treat yourself, if you see it in your area, to go see it. Everything goes wrong during this play, just like the name says. Set pieces falling down, doors won't open, people are late for their cues. Anyway, this movie is called Noises Off. Michael Caine is the director of a play. Christopher Reeve, Cal Burnett, John Ritter. This had me laughing out loud, and it tells the story of a play, and you see it 3 times. One, as they're rehearsing before the big night. The second is the big night, but it's all now behind the stage while the play is going on. And then the third is sort of its final performance, and it sounds sort of like a monotonous, repetitious thing, and it is not. Let me tell you, 5 stars, Noises Off. I cannot wait to make this a yearly thing or something in a repetitive rotation. Next up, week 46 is someone with my favorite actor or actress, and one of my favorites is Holly Hunter, who I adore. So I put in Copycat, which also has Sigourney Weaver. Love that a lot. 3.5 stars. Next up is week 47. It's about a famous person. I was given a 4K by my friend Caveman. Thanks, guy. And that is First Man. Man, look at that. It's got you some Ryan Gosling on there. Landing on the moon, all that good stuff. There you go. It was good. Like, it didn't blow me away, but it was strong enough to still hold a 3 stars. Next up, week 48 is set in a country you want to visit, which for me is Australia. So we checked out The Babadook. Finally got to see that. And again, that was okay. You know, it was a little bit of a sludge. Not very super scary. It's more of like a... I'm not even trying to describe it. But anyway, Babadook, 3 stars. All right, and as we're nearing the end, we've got at week 49, based on a religion, I saw Crossroads with Ralph Macchio playing guitar, and he meets this guy who's supposed to be an old, band guy, blues guy, and he loves the blues, and you kind of realize he had sold his soul to the devil, so it brings in sort of the religious things about the devil and being good and all that. And a friend had given me that, shout out to Michael for giving me that copy. So I was able to check that out. And I gave that 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Next up, week 50 is the 50th anniversary of a movie. And I picked another Spielberg. So I think I've seen all Spielberg movies except one, which I'm going to work into next year. And that is Sugarland Express with Goldie Hawn. She was absolutely kills it in that movie. She's excellent. If you haven't seen Sugarland Express, pick up that Spielberg, box set that's out there on Amazon and check it out. Worth your time. So good. She is great because she's not only funny, but she's also dramatic. That girl's got it all. And the last 2 weeks, week 51, is a film I personally relate to. So I just picked something like theater, going to the movies, things like that, and so I picked The Purple Rose of Cairo, which is another Woody Allen movie because I'm not a big fan. So these are just chances to immerse myself into someone's filmography that I'm not that familiar or think I'm not into. And I enjoyed Purple Rose of Cairo. It was good. Again, did not like the ending. There are many different ways. And I'm not giving anything away. I would have ended that, and it would have been a much more satisfying film. Even my wife agrees exactly the same. She goes, love the movie right up to the end. Then it was just BS. So, and Woody even says it couldn't have ended any other way. I disagree. There is another way it could have ended, and my way's better. And finally, the last film of my 52-week challenge of 2024 is In the Heat of the Night. It was something that was released in the decade I was born, and that is In the Heat of the Night. Oh, and to clarify, the other one was American Graffiti, and that takes place in the decade I was born. It takes place in the 60s. This one is released in the 60s. Slightly different, right? So In the Heat of the Night, Sidney Poitier. Now I finally get the context of they call me Mr. Tibbs, right? All that good stuff. Fantastic performances. Love that movie. 4 stars. What a great way to end the year. So that is it. That's my 52-week challenge for the year of 2024. And again, the big deal with that is try to see as many new movies as I can. Now, here is what it looks like when it's all over. This is my sheet that I kept taped up on the wall next to my bed there. So every time I woke up, and what I did, y'all, is I made sort of Sunday the day that I do these. So if you have sort of a consistent day that you're able to see these, it's helpful. Now, I didn't get them done all on a Sunday. Sometimes Sunday was busy with stuff, so I'd have to find a new day to do it. But for the most part, I'd say like maybe 75%, I was able to knock a lot of these out on Sunday. Okay, my friends, now to wrap this up, it is time to invite you to my 2025 52-week movie challenge. This one's going to be awesome, y'all. Here, I'll pop it up on the screen. This is what the page looks like. As you can see, in my version, I've already started to fill out my own suggestions for each week. So when I get to that week, I have some choices to pick from. Don't worry about freeze framing, but in the description below, I will list it all out so you can copy, paste, and make a sheet like this if you want. Also, go to my Letterboxd, and there you will find my particular challenge, so you can clone it, add it to your letterbox, and follow along. Now remember, the way I do it is I don't pre-list all my movies because I want to choose when I get to that date. So if you look, I've only got one movie on there right now because I've already knocked out week number 1, which is week number 1 movie from your favorite director or one of your favorite directors. And one of my favorite directors is Quentin Tarantino, and the only one of his, for whatever reason, I've still yet to watch is Django Unchained. and I've already remedied that. Watched it earlier today. Killed it, crushed it, loved it. It was great. So follow along, make your own list. It's going to be a great time. Now, just to sort of clarify a couple on the list so that you get it. Now, one I'm just sort of excited to check out is week number 6, which is Body Swap. There's a bunch of Body Swap movies, and personally, I'm going to do Change Up. It's got Jason Bateman and Ryan Reynolds in it, and this thing looks absolutely hilarious. Cannot wait to check that out. Now, other ones is week number 15 is watch a movie starring an actor or actress born on your birthday. Now, I realize sometimes we all don't get the coolest actors on our birthday. For me, the longest time it was just Steven Seagal. I'm like, now I do like Steven Seagal from Under Siege back to his first movie, Above the Law, but after that, meh. But since then, I've learned that also I have Daisy Ridley, David Harbour, Mandy Moore, Haley Joel Osment. So I'm probably going to pick a movie from either Daisy Ridley or David Harbour on my birthday, so good luck to y'all. Next up is week 16 is a second sequel in a series. So it's got to be that third movie. So if it's Scream, you got a bunch. Friday the 13th, you got a ton. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a trilogy. You can have more than 3 movies, but you have to watch that third movie in that trilogy or franchise, okay? In week 23, this one's going to be important to me. It's give a movie a second chance. For me, I got a lot. I got to maybe give Big Lebowski, 2001, Scarface, all kinds of movies that I just feel like I need to give a second chance to. So we'll see about that one. On weeks 26 and 51, it's Paramount Pictures and Universal Pictures. Just pick a movie that was nominated or won for Best Picture. It didn't have to win. It just has to be at least nominated from those studios for you to check it out. Gives you more options that way. And finally, the very last one, week 52, is watch a movie from a friend's recommendation. So a family member or friend that says, oh, I would love for you to check this movie out. Take it and end the year off of a recommendation. I think that'd be an absolutely fun way. And if you got recommendations for me, y'all, in the comments, let me know. Huck, on that last day, I'm going to recommend this. And if I get a whole bunch of recommendations, I'll throw them in a hat, pull them out. And I definitely want to lean towards one I haven't seen before for that last one of the year. For me, again, this year, I ended it with In the Heat of the Night. What a fantastic way to end that challenge. So, my friends, that is going to do it for this 2024 recap of my 52-week challenge and inviting you to my 2025 52-week movie challenge as well. If this video brought you here, thank you so much for being here. Get on down there, hit like, subscribe, smack the bell, leave a comment, share it with all your friends. Until next time, get out there, y'all, and join me on my 52-week movie challenge 2025. Thank you to all my Cafe members for their support. And if you'd like to be a Cafe member to help support the channel, please consider hitting that join button now.